Hi, it's Dorothy and Tesla. It is mid-July and we are getting ready to do our wine tour for the summer, except it's a coffee tour today because it's morning. My daughter Tesla is going back to Denver today. It's been a wonderful summer having her here due to COVID, which isn't the greatest thing, but it's been great having her here. So our last tour was the spring tour where everything was growing and hopeful and beautiful. Now it's coming on to harvest time. It's sticky and hot and there's lots of weeds. But let's see what the plants are doing. First of all, the currants. The currants are the first thing that we harvest, and here's what they look like. This is called every one of these is called a strig, and you can harvest these either by pulling the whole strig off, or you can put your bucket under and pull them into the bucket like that. So those are the currants, first thing to harvest. Well, actually rhubarb is the first thing to harvest. This is second. Now, let's head out to the peppers and I'll show you what peppers and weeds look like. Okay, so we are at the pepper patch now. I grow mostly chili peppers, and I hope you can see them in amongst the weeds. They are growing. Here's what they look like. See, there's habaneros in there and all kinds of chili peppers. And I'll show you them again when it's harvest time, and you'll see how they do outcompete the weeds if I keep on top of them. So let's go look at the squash. We had a real problem with the squash. Okay, we're headed to the squash now. I grew a lot of heirloom squash this year. The problem is our deer problem has come back. The dogs took care of it for a while, but now the dogs have gotten lazy. Well, we only have one dog left. And he's old and lazy, so he doesn't chase the deer away. So we had some real problem. The deer were coming out here and eating these. Now you probably can't see this yet, but we covered them with bird netting. Get it right down there. It's really hard to see. It's a grid, and the deer do not like getting their, it's real sticky, so they don't like getting their feet in it, and they don't like getting their nose in it, and yet the things can grow underneath it. The main problem is you have to get this deer netting off in about a week so that the plants can grow through it. So hopefully by that time the deer will have found somewhere else to graze. Okay, onto the herb garden. Okay, so the herb garden is doing really, really well. I grew salad herbs, tea herbs, all kinds of herbs. And of course it's got weeds in it too, but you can see how big the tarragon is. Over there are the salad greens and the nasturtiums, and then we've got mint in the background and rosemary, and then the tea garden right here. So now we're going to head out to the tomatoes, the blueberries. Well, we'll stop and look at the cucumbers on the way. Okay, so here we are at cucumbers and beans. I only grow Romano beans because I love them and they're hard to find in the store. They're just mostly for our families. The other thing growing here are the cucumbers.
And I used them on my salt and vinegar chips, or salt and vinegar cucumber chips, and they were so good.
They were good. She made a video of it, and I'm a little jealous because her video ended up
popular,
out competing my videos. So anyway, here's what the cucumbers look like right now. Okay, and then those are the beans, and of course the weeds.
And the cow tracks from the neighbor's cow yesterday.
Yeah, our neighbors have a lot of animals, and their cow got out. They're gone and their cow got out. So we spent most of the evening last night trying to corral the cow and get it back into their yard. Okay, we're in the tunnel now where I grow all of the heirloom tomatoes.
The tunnel?
And they're doing, yes, it's a tunnel. It's not a greenhouse because it's not heated. So the tomatoes are doing really, really well. They always do well in here. It's July second or third, and
Second.
looks like they've got about 2 more weeks before they'll all be done. Okay, onto the blueberries, and then we're done with the tour before the deer flies eat us up. All right, here we are at the blueberry patch. We grow 600 blueberry plants. This is our main crop, this and the heirloom tomatoes. This is the stage they're at on July 2nd. They're looking really, really good. These have probably another week, maybe 2, and then they'll be ready for market. And yeah, it looks like 2 more weeks. So the blueberries are wonderful, and they're very, very easy to grow organically if you take a few precautions first. These blueberry plants right here grow in Minnesota. They are called half highs, and they are 14 years old. So that's it for the farm tour. Those are the main things we grow, little things for our family. But fortunately, the cow did not get into our blueberries or tomatoes, but it was a long, sticky, hard night getting him back over to the neighbors.
You know, if the goats got out, we would have kept them.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I do.
We also had our neighbor's kittens in the back there, which she's trying to get me to keep, but we've got 2 cats and an old dog, and I think we need to wait.
I think cats would be, I mean, that's the best part, because then they're old and then you take on a new generation.
I'm old too. I might be too old for
Cats?
a whole bunch of new animals. Well, no. Having our old cats not fight with the
Yeah.
young cats would be the main problem. So
They already fight with each other enough.
So I'll come back in end of August, or probably fall. I'll come back in the fall and do a wine tour. I don't know that Tessa will be with me then,
Hope
unfortunately, but who knows. So I'll at least come back in the fall and give you a wine tour of harvesting, probably. Okay? Cheers.
Cheers.
Coffee.
Coffee cheers.
Yep. Coffee cheers.